Hey guys, how you doing? Gavin Timms with REI Network. Welcome back to another episode. Before we get going, you know what I'm going to say. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you're watching me on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe there and also on the podcast. One thing before we get going, I got something obviously cool I want to talk about today. But before we get going, if you have any suggestions on what you want me to cover, what you want me to talk about, if you want me to interview anyone, if you want me to role play, I don't know, whatever it is that you'd be like, you know what, this would be cool, no one else is doing it, or we want to see more of it, feel free to drop me an email at support@reinetwork.com, support@reinetwork.com, and you can even just subject it podcast suggestion, something like that, and then do us a quick email saying, hey, could you do this, could you do that, and I'll definitely look at it and see if we can make that happen. All right, so also, before we get going, quick giveaway. If you've not already got them, go to reinetwork.com/downloads. I've got some free downloads there for you as well. Right, let's get into it. Something that not some people cover, but not a lot of people cover. For you guys, I actually just spoke to one of my new clients about this, and he said, you know what? Not everyone talks about scaling a business and doing multiple deals or going into multiple markets. And you were kind of one of the only ones that kind of we found that talks about it. So I'm sure other people do. I'm not saying they don't, but it was just some feedback, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should do an episode about the best ways to scale your real estate business. So that's what I want to talk about today on this episode, okay? And if you got any comments, put them in, and I'll be gladly after when you're watching this, I will get them answered. All right. And it's actually a Saturday, guys. When I'm actually recording this, it's a Saturday. I've been working most of today. It's been crazy. We've been building out systems for people. We've done kind of a new, not course, because it isn't a course, it's nothing to do with a course, it's nothing to do with coaching, but building out systems and putting things in place, which is again helping people either do their first deal or scale their business depending on what level they're at. So if you want to check that out, go to ineedsystems.com, and you can check that out. Okay, so anyway, scaling the business, taking the business to the next level. Let's talk about that. So it starts off with a vision. Okay, in my opinion, what are you actually trying to do? Some people come into this business and create a job, right? Because we know this business is hard. We know you've got to grind to get results. We've got to talk to them sellers. We've got to make them offers. We've got to do the follow-up. We've got to do all them things that need to be done. And you may have created yourself a job. You may be, obviously doing deals. But did you have a vision? And if we didn't, then we need to create one. Actually, what is this supposed to look like for you? This is not my vision. Okay, you have to have your own vision. Really, really important. And it's not all about big businesses. Again, I had a coaching call today when we were talking about that. And the more you grow and the more you're out there and the more deals, you come across more opportunity. And sometimes you have to turn them opportunities down if it's not right for you and it doesn't align with what you're trying to achieve. In particular, I get a lot of opportunity. We work to work with some of the best people in the industry, and I'm not obviously start name dropping people, but some people that you would know. Some people would be more like, well, why do they want to work with me? And it's because I believe that I'm good at what we do, not just me, but my team, in terms of the systems to be able to be in multiple markets and building out teams to be able to do that. It's nothing to do with me, really, because without them, I'm nothing, and I'm honest about that. But one thing I can do is I can lead gen in any market. And if I can bring that system to the table, then investors want to partner, and some of the influencers in the space that we're in and people that you guys follow will also want to partner with me because they know I have it dialed in a cost-effective way. And if we can partner and split deals together and we play to our strengths, then we can get deals done. But sometimes I have to turn them opportunities down because I don't want to be in loads of states. I've tried it. I've been in 8 markets at once and I didn't like it. I was working too hard. It was too much stress, too much money outgoing, and it just it isn't for me. Right, I don't want to put that much effort in. Well, maybe it is that, maybe that is the case, and that's not because I'm lazy. I work hard. I don't want to sit here and say I don't, but I definitely work on the business and not in the business. So we're definitely going to be talking more about that here. Okay, so creating a vision. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to do fix and flip, buy and hold? What's the end goal? You want to work on the business in it. You want to see houses. You want to do the repairs on the houses. Like, everyone's got a different personality. So you need to be you. You do what you want, and then the business fits around you. Okay, so having that vision is obviously number one. And if you're doing deals now, we need to have the vision before we can put anything in place. Okay, so make sure you get that down. Also, when we're talking about scaling, we need to have the foundations down. Okay, which are brilliant at the basic things. We've talked about them in multiple episodes. They are marketing, talking to sellers, making offers, and following up. You need to be good at them. And you must be good if you're doing deals, right? This is about talking, about scaling, but you need that foundation in place to be able to make money. You need to have done a deal or two, and I'm sure you've got them things, or you've done some of them correctly. You've done some marketing, you've talked to sellers, you've made offers, you've followed up to get deals done. Maybe it's not efficient yet as it should be, and part of scaling, that's what we're going to again talk more through this episode about doing. Okay. Also, make sure before we scale that we're doing deals consistently. This doesn't mean we've done a deal, now we're ready to take on the world. Obviously, you scale in stages. Absolutely. So make sure that that's being consistent, that you're doing consistent deals, and that's kind of like chipping away, and you're just building a block at a time. One of the great statement that I love was actually from Will Smith. Okay, he talks about his father, and they when they grew up, they built a wall, and it was this huge wall, and basically when they got home, their job was to lay a brick, okay, a perfect brick every single day, okay, and then lay another brick, and then lay another brick one at a time, okay. And if you do that, lay a brick to the best of your ability to make it perfect, whatever, and if you lay that brick and then you lay another one and then you do one at a time, eventually you build a wall, okay. And instead of looking at that and being overwhelmed, like, there's no way that I can build this wall, but if you break that down and say, actually, if I just put one brick, can you lay one brick? Well, yeah, if the foundation's there, right? But if you lay one, oh yeah, I can do that. But you can't build a wall, right? Oh no, I can't build a wall. Well, what if you lay one brick and then you laid another? You see where I'm going? You will get your wall. So it's the same in real estate, guys, is that we need to make sure that we are, doing bit by bit and building on that to be able to scale, okay? Also, profit first. When you're making money now, make sure that you're rewarding yourself. I think that's very, very important. You need to make sure that you are rewarding yourself, because if not, you're not creating the wins in your mindset, and you're not feeling the success that you should. Now, that's not saying that you do a deal and you go and blow it on a holiday or whatever and spend it all. I'm not saying that, but you do need to reward yourself. Again, a great book is Profit First. Okay, so make sure that you check that out. Okay, so profit first, pay yourself, and then you're going to put a percentage back into the business. Whatever you can do, 25, at least probably 50% if you can, back in to help you scale in this business. But just because you're scaling it, right, and you're willing to reinvest, that's then when we get into kind of a tricky situation, which is the things that we got to get right. Just because you're going to put more money in the business does not mean that it's going to actually scale and grow, because who are doing the jobs? If you're a one-man band, okay, you work on your own, or you have a team, your team needs to be big enough to allow the amount of leads coming in consistently, to work through the pipeline of creating leads, having quality conversations, making offers, and then following up until close. So you need to then be able to reinvest, but reinvest across the board and build everything together. Okay. Also as well, that if you've done a couple of deals and you are successful, maybe you're a wholesaler, maybe you're doing lease options and you want to then bring on another strategy, you have to watch for this. This is a key problem. I get a lot of wholesalers saying, actually, I do 2 or 3 deals a month and I want to add and I want to do lease options, which makes complete sense. But before we do that, we need to make sure, okay, that these are now adding to the deals that you're already doing. I see it time and time again where someone is doing 3 wholesale deals a month. They want to start lease options and then they stop doing wholesale deals to try and do lease options, and then they go backwards. That's not how this works. You still do 3 wholesale deals, and then the leads that don't work for a wholesale deal, you will then learn to make lease options on. So then you're consistently doing 3 deals. Now you want to do 4 or 5 deals with lease options or creative financing, and again making sure that you're not supplementing one for another. And that goes to as well moving into a second market, right? There's no point you being in, if you do 5 deals, if you get this business, I think you should be doing at least 4 or 5 deals a month before looking at another market. That's just me personally. It could be a couple, depending again what your vision is. There's no right or wrong rule. But one thing is that you have to expand. You cannot say, okay, we're going to do 4 or 5 deals and we're there, and now I want to go and open up a new market, and then you do 2 deals in a new market, but you're now 4 or 5 deals in your original market go to 2. So you're still doing 4 or 5 deals overall, but you've got more hassle and more headache. Again, expanding and making sure that you're actually moving, bolting on, doing more deals as you grow in them markets, taking them systems that you've built, okay, in one market and then establishing it into the next, depending again how many team members you want and what you want to do to grow. Okay. Now I want to talk about, I know we're hitting things here, you can listen to this, you can obviously pause it as well if you want to take notes. We do have show notes as well that's going to be going out for you, okay? But the hiring process is absolute must when we're scaling. You cannot scale and do everything on your own, okay? So we need to talk about that. Who we're going to hire? Well, again, what is back to the vision of who we need to hire? There's so many ways to set up the business, to do deals virtually in your backyard, whether you want to have a wholesale partner, whether you want to be hands off, whether you want to be literally driving around, or when you want to be on the phone, off the phone, right? Again, back to that vision and then putting these things in place. But you only hire when it's necessary, all right? So you need to be overwhelmed in an area in the business, okay? Then it makes sense for you to then hire that person. For instance, you're not going to hire a disposition person with no contracts. That is my opinion. That means we're focusing in the wrong area, and we know that that's going to come eventually. So if you're doing 1 to 2 deals and you're saying, well, I need to scale this, I know what you're thinking. How do I scale it? Because I'm already working 90 hours a week as it is. I am successful. I am doing a few deals a month, but again, you don't have any systems in place, right? You need to, the bottom line of this, of what I'm actually getting at, guys, is that for you to be able to scale, you need to have your time. You need to be working on the business and not in the business to be able to scale. I'd say pretty close to being a fact. If you're wearing all the hats in the business, how can you scale? How can you work on it to scale when you're already working 70 hours a week? Makes no sense, right? So we need to start, before we scale, is that we get rid of all the hats that you're wearing in the business. You're the marketer, you're the talking to sellers, you're the offer guy making offers, you're the one doing the follow-up, and you're being successful in doing it because you've done a deal or 2, and now saying, okay, well, now we need to scale this. Well, how do I scale? We need to get rid of me doing all of these things. First thing that you should hire is obviously a virtual assistant. They can help you on the lead gen, on the follow-up, on the organization, on the making offers, okay, and they are going to come at a better cost for you to do that. And as you start to get rid of them jobs, then you can bring the next person in. As soon as it's you start to free your time up, you then can put your energy back into actually scaling this up, going into multiple markets or more deals in your market, right? So the first thing we got to do is stop wearing the hats, put people in place, make sure we're still doing deals, and once now I have the time to work on the business, now my focus is on scaling. So number one is get rid of yourself. You need to be fired from the business, and then you'll be able to scale because your time will be able to be spent in that area. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Okay, then we talk about, well, how do we do that? How a VA is one of them things, right? And then we talk about automation. You can use a CRM. We use obviously REI Simple to help with that, where you can turn on the automation. I talked about follow-up actually in a previous episode about this. An automation for me should only be operating on cold leads. If it's a hot or warm lead, it needs to be manually done by you or your team through phone calls and text messages and emails, okay, tailored, and then any cold leads you would put the automation on. You will then be delegating to your team, obviously, of VAs, okay. So once you have some VAs in place to take some of the lead gen, to take some of the follow-up, to take some of the offers, you are probably still in the main position, as we know, to make this money is on the phone, okay. The phone is where it's at. That's what's going to be making the money or not. And it's the hardest job. It's the hardest thing to fill. Okay, so when we go for acquisition, now this is a must. I'm working on with a couple of clients with this. This is the hardest position to fill, the phone, right? No one's as good as you. You're the best. You're the one that's bringing all the money. We get that. No one's as passionate as you because it's your business. When you start to bring in a salesperson, that is when it can get a little tricky. Okay, because most people come in and go, oh, I've got an acquisition, I'm done. Then, Mr. Acquisition, you take all the leads. Well, what are their experience? Are you bringing them in from another organization of real estate? They know what they're doing. You're plugging them in. That's one thing. But I guarantee most of you are going and finding someone of a sales background, someone that's new to real estate, and you're building them. Just like when you started, you can't just hand everything over and expect it to make money. It's impossible. Okay, so what you need to do is, you need to, I kind of call it like feathering, right? Or I don't know if that's a UK term, but when you're feathering something, meaning that you're kind of like, you're bringing things together until there's a kind of a handover for it. So for instance, if I'm the acquisition, I am the phone guy, and I hire Tommy here that's going to be working with me. Tommy's now going to listen to my calls, so I'm going to go about my day-to-day things. He's going to be training, listening to me. I'm going to be having discussions of why I did this and why I said that, and then I'm going to start handing leads over to him and then letting him have a go, and I will be listening to them, okay, and critiquing and say, hey, you did great here. Look, we could have positioned it in this way. This is what I would have done, but you did really well here. Again, praise. And once you've done that, there's no timeline. This could be days, weeks, months to get them ready, but you've got to be like, okay, we're going to get to a phase where I'm taking half the leads, they're taking half the leads, so you're doing that transition, but they need to be making money, okay, before. They need to get deals under contract, get things moving, and then you all of a sudden, they take 60%, 70%, and 80%. Okay, and then you start to remove you fully out of the business to then be able to work back on the business and go, you know what, this guy's cranking, he's good, I can step away, I can now focus on more leads. Now, does he have enough leads or does he have too many? Again, overwhelm, when the position is overwhelmed, like hey Gavin, I can't keep up, I've got too many leads coming in, I've got too much follow-up, I'm doing my best, I'm making money, all right, let's get the next acquisition in, if that is part of your vision, and then you will grow, and then that acquisition will shadow your current acquisition, and they will start learning the process. Then you might go into a help with disposition, then we have a disposition. You can see how this is going to go, guys, right? Again, if that's part of the vision. Some people, if you guys are now listening going, well, hold on a minute, that's all great, but I work 9 till 5, then we need to look for a different approach, right? We're going to be going slower, okay? If you are if you're working 9 till 5, you have a couple of different options. You need to make sure that you have systems. You need to make sure that you're having leads coming in. I think it's a must. You must have leads coming in, okay, with systems, bringing leads in somehow through cold calling, text, direct mail, whatever, Facebook, whatever it may be. You have to have leads coming in, so when you get off work, you have the ability and the chance to work with sellers that are interested in selling, interested in offer, interested in talking with you about their property, because again, that is the only way you're going to get out of that 9 till 5, right? Or you're going to find a partner. You know, one of my main strategies is partner with people on the ground, where I bring in half of the systems and the leads and the marketing and that side, and then they're going to bring in them locking up the deals and moving them. And again, that system can be running while you're at work as well. Okay, you just have to find, you know, that right partner. And we do, you know, the coach on how to do that. But that's kind of how, just a few things there. And there's always more, right, on how to scale the business. But I think as a wrap up here, is make sure if you're going to scale, we put systems, we're wearing all the hats. We then have to get out of all them jobs. Okay, and as we then start to relieve and have more time, because we're not in the day-to-day operation, we can start working on the business to scale. I feel it's pretty impossible, okay, if you're working, doing 3 or 4 deals yourself, doing everything, you don't have time to scale. And that's why you have to do that transition that we just talked about. And then you can scale the business. You can grow into multiple markets. As soon as the system works in one market, it will work in 50 other markets. Okay, depending, you're just then doing the same things, building the same things out. Okay, and doing deals. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Hopefully you got some value. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe, guys. If you need help with systems, go to ineedsystems.com. Okay, where we'll set it up for you. That's what we're kind of running right now. And yeah, I appreciate you all, and hopefully, like I said, you got something from this. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, saying, hey, I didn't really understand this, and we'll try and get to everything. And remember, if you've got an idea and you think we need to cover on a podcast or on a YouTube video, drop us an email to support@reinetwork.com, support@reinetwork.com, and let us know, and we'll try and make that happen for you. All right, guys, you all have a great day, and I will talk to you all soon. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.